This is the new YT Decoy.
With a stripped-back design, YT's goal was to get as close to a regular mountain bike as possible. Moto-style wheels with a 29er at the front and a 27.5 at the rear. It's available in 5 sizes, and YT say they have developed the frame to be extremely balanced with excellent kinematics. Suspension performance was a top priority when designing the bike, and YT's goal was to develop a real YT mountain bike that is more gravity orientated than their competitors.
Developed from the ground up by YT over the past couple of years, they've put a huge amount of research and development into the way that the bike handles, the balance, the suspension, the kinematics. It's got a totally custom battery developed by YT that integrates into the frame. It looks like a sweet, sweet design. Let's take a closer look at the bike, and then we're going to go and hit some of these amazing trails that you can see just over here. It's just totally epic. We're in the south of France. Some of the world's most beautiful scenery and some of the most amazing trails to test out this bike. So this is the full carbon wheels, Fox 36 suspension, Fox X2 rear shocks, 160mm travel at the front, 165 at the rear, and this is the top of the range bike that YT do. Now YT have said that they've designed this bike for them, so it's as if they were designing their own bike. These are the exact components that they would put on them and pick for their own bikes, and that's across YT. It's part of their philosophy, and it just oozes with all of the kind of top line components that you would pick. Now this bike is 5,999, so if you think full carbon wheels, Fox 36, Renthal, the Shimano E8000 package, 540 watt-hour battery. That's a little bit more than most of the Shimano bikes that are out at the moment. What's really interesting about this is it's got DI2, so electronic shifting, and what that means is you can get a really, really neat look on the cockpit. Look, you can only really see 3 wires coming out. It's super, super clean, and it's got the newer E7000 shifter just here. So it's a little bit different, and it takes a little bit of getting used to because you haven't got a lever under the bar. And I've found that they're lightning quick, super, super clean. And this has got code RSC brakes, which work brilliantly on this terrain. E13 carbon wheels, 29er at the front and 27.5 at the rear, Fox 36 factory. And then you can see the battery, the way it's integrated just down here. The 2 bolts, you've got this bolt here and then another one just down here. Undo those, battery just pulls out. It's a 540 watt-hour battery, and YT have put a huge amount of R&D into this. It needed to be fully certified, so it's not like an off-the-shelf one that Shimano sell. It adds a huge amount more complexities to actually selling a bike by manufacturing your own battery, from shipping the cells to getting it certified to make sure it's safe. But they wanted to make sure it looks like a mountain bike, and boy does this look good. I mean, the lines on this are sick. Fox Float X2 shock, Fox transfer dropper, Kashima coated, and a SDG saddle. It's got a 2.8-inch Maxxis Minion DHR2 Max Terra compound and the Exo Plus protection, which is a little bit more than regular Exo. 4-bar suspension, and the goal was to create a superbly balanced, awesome looking, high performing e-bike. There's 3 options. There's a, I guess, entry level, which is 4,199. Front triangle is carbon, and on that one the rear is aluminium. And then the next one is 4,999, and that's full carbon, slightly different component spec, and then 5,999 for this one with carbon wheels as well, and DI2 electronic shifting. So we're going to go and hit some of these amazing trails, amazing hills, and give it a good workout. Look how neat the cockpit is. There's 3 wires that you can see, and then the mode control is just really neatly tucked into here. They've gone for the Shimano E8000 display because it is smaller, a bit more low profile, no colour on there, and the goal was just to keep the cockpit looking as close to a regular YT as possible. See the cables just tuck in just down here through the frame. Oh boy, nice reach. This is the XXL. It's 495mm of reach, so taller riders. They do 5 sizes, so you know, you got an XXL, and the standover height is really low.
We took a shuttle to the top of some epic trails. We accessed some of them via some sketchy loose walkways. After crossing these, it was time to get on the bike and see how it handled on some gravity sections, loose rocks, hard slabs, and everything in between.
Yeah!
The bike is extremely stable and balanced with a low centre of gravity. Partnered with the 160mm Fox 36 fork and the 65-degree head angle, I was able to point it downhill and let it soak everything up. It likes to hit the chunky stuff and soak up the bigger hits, which it does with ease, and it filled me with confidence and definitely helped me hit rock gardens and bigger drops at speeds that I wouldn't have had the balls to hit on a trail-orientated bike. The short chainstay helped lift the front end over speed-sapping rocks and roots. The bike is quite easy to lift and manoeuvre. The 29er on the front rolled very well with the Exo Plus based Maxxis Minions, and the tyres provided really good levels of grip, especially on this really loose, dusty, kind of marbled surface.
Single track trails, rocky, rooty, steep. I mean, look at this shit. Ooh. Yeah.
We started to hit less of the chunky stuff and more single track with narrow, rooty trails. And I thought that the bike might feel a bit more cumbersome here, but I was pleasantly surprised. It handled quick, the steering felt sharp enough, the 800mm wide Renthal bars and the 40mm stem combo meant that I was really able to move the bike around through the narrow sections fairly well. Whew.
Whee! Ooh, move! Woohoo! Dust in my eye. Had to take my sunglasses off. Oh, yeah, awesome. So the YT is just so good down that. The front and rear travel is like soaking it all up and just gives you the confidence to smash it down there. I'm not used to this kind of level of technical terrain, but the YT just eats it up, and I just feel so comfortable just sending it down, really. You can just chuck the bike down. Suspension is so good, literally soaking up everything. Oh. That was so nice. Whoa. It's an amazing platform. I love the fact that it's in XXL as well. So for me, 6'3", 191 centimeters, it just works really well. So this is the last climb of the day. 3 bars still left on the battery, and I'm just going to boost it up and admire the view. Had so much confidence in the bike. In fact, confidence has been growing. It's much longer than my bike that I'm riding at the moment, so I've learned to just kind of trust the front end because it's so balanced. Going over jumps and drops and even stuff that is totally blind that I've seen the other riders do are way better than I am, by the way. I've just learned to trust the bike a lot more.
In terms of overall handling, the YT Decoy offers an impressive wide range of abilities. Whilst it's certainly more gravity focused than trail, that doesn't stop it feeling well placed when riding forest sections. It translates to a lot of fun. It can hit steep descents and soak up rock gardens and natural drops with ease. I rode it down long rocky sections with step drops that continued right to the bottom of the trails, and the suspension recovered really well, and not once did I feel that the bike lost composure. It's not overly cumbersome to handle. I'd have no issue using this as a regular trail bike with the thought that I'd have enough bike to take almost anywhere. The bike offers incredible value for money. It looks stunning too, with components that you'd probably pick if you were building your own bike from scratch. I had a fantastic time riding it in the French mountains. It's a seriously capable e-bike from YT.
I'm with Stefan from YT. Stefan is the Chief Technology Officer. Lots of people talking about YT possibly bringing an e-bike out one day, and now it's finally here, which is awesome to see. How important is this bike to YT as a company?
Yeah, it's a really important step for us to also jump into the e-mountain bike category, because we think it's a really nice and interesting category, and so it will become definitely a big part for us.
How complex was it to bring this out?
So it was definitely the most complex product we developed so far, and we start, I would say, with the project 3 years ago, with a kind of kickoff discussion, and the real development time for this project was 2.5 years. So when we made decisions regarding completely integration of the electric motor, of the battery, the points, how do we handle cable routing, what kind of frame material we'll choose, and then from that point on, it cost us around about 2.5 years. Yeah.
And you chose not to go for a standard battery that you bolt onto the frame, right?
Yes, exactly. This is our own battery, which is approved by Shimano. The technical point was that we want to integrate the battery and creating the mass as low as possible. The center of gravity, that's what we found out, is a major point of such a bike to make it nimble and to create a fun bike. And that was one technical reason, plus that we were not really confident with the fixing systems which are offered by the official batteries, because our consumer base is normally kind of hard riding consumers. So this was also really important for us to fulfill these needs. And also we want to have the newest technology, kind of technology inside is the cell, the 21700, because in the lifespan of the bike, it's quite likely that we will have additional or further developed 21700 cells with more energy inside. So we will have, with the lifespan of the bike, we also have maybe an improvement of the battery. And that was important for us to create something which is that there's a future for the system, and you could create more energy finally for the consumer riding the bike. And the second thing is it's super important, the look and feel of the bike. It was clear we want to have the look and feel we create with our chassis and Capra, so that you see directly, okay, this is an YT, and the only possible way for us was to go for an integration. Especially we want to have the shock position and the kinematic ideas we had leads to the fact that we need to bring the shock mount on the top of the down tube. So it was the only possibility. So it was a mixture of technical and aesthetic things we had.
So you mentioned the customer that goes for YT sometimes rides a little bit harder than your average rider, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
What type of customer do you see purchasing this YT e-bike?
So what we basically did is the kinematic and the geometry and the size spread we have, it's the same like we have on normal mountain bikes, like on the Capra and chassis. So what we see is our existing consumers, which likes to enter this really fun category of EMTB. And obviously we will get some additional new customer base, which maybe like the brand, maybe like the look and feel of the bike. And but we have to see. We do not exactly know. But it's so new, and what we did on the bike is our definition. How do we see EMTB? It's a clear statement. It's a bike which has a really stable behavior, good balanced. That was our goal, and let's see how the consumers react on that. Yeah.
You've gone for a Shimano motor in this. Any kind of reasons why it was a Shimano over any other manufacturer, or did it just fit well with the rest of the bike?
So it was fitting first well with the bike because we got the chance to positioning the pivot point for the chainstay on the position where we like to have it, to reduce the anti-squat and extremely reducing the pedal kickback on the bike to help the engine to run smooth. And this was one point. And then Shimano knows what biking means, what mountain biking means. And that's at the moment, I would say, the driving company for EMTB motors, because the guys do mountain bike stuff since ever, and when you see the product, you understand it, and they have a really stable quality. And this is a really interesting thing. And like you mentioned, that the integration of the cables and everything, and the shifters, especially the new E8000 shifters, which makes the cockpit super clean. The super small black and white display, which is hidden behind the handlebar, is brilliant. It's brilliant for mountain bikes, and no other manufacturer is offering these options at the moment.
Yeah, super slick. And service network with Shimano, I guess, fits in with your brand as a direct-to-consumer brand.
Yes. So first is service it's a huge topic. What we had the service issue from the beginning on in our design brief, because we go direct. So it's not all about the electronical issues you could have. It's also mechanical things. And we have now 10 years of experience, and we know what our consumers could handle and what not. And if we have a mechanical issue, maybe with a hydraulic system like a brake or shifting cable, whatever, it's like it was clear the bike needs to be designed that it's super easy to work on the cables, to change brakes, to change the speed sensor cable, for example. And that's why we developed a cable tunnel inside the bike. And when you dismantle the battery, you see all cables, and where the transition from the main frame to the rear end is, there's a cable tunnel. And it's super simple to handle. It's just removing the battery. You could change every single cable, brake cable, shifting cable, motor cable, without an issue. And that was one major point regarding service.
I'm sure you're super happy to get it out and
Yes.
show it to the public.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
I hope you liked the video. If you do, make sure you're subscribed because I bring out electric mountain bike content every single week. Huge thanks to YT for inviting me to test the new Decoy. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you liked the video too. If you did, let me know below. I'll catch up with you all soon. Bye.